Welcome to Twitter Marketing. By the end of this training, you'll be confidently using Twitter as a powerful marketing tool to drive website traffic and generate sales for your business. You'll learn how to add valuable content to Twitter so you can build an audience and attract genuine followers. I'll show you how to set up your profile, post your first 5 tweets, and how to get your first followers. You'll also learn how to search for potential clients on Twitter, how to engage with top influencers, and how to use Twitter analytics to grow your account. I'll even walk you through how to integrate Twitter right into your website. We'll be covering all of this as well as plenty of other tips and tricks so that you can get the most out of Twitter. Let's get started. In this video, you're going to learn how to create your account on Twitter. So to get started, go to twitter.com, and if you're brand new, we really want to be filling up this box here that says sign up. So if you were signing up for a business account, well then you really want to put in your business name. I'll just put in demo for the moment. And then you want to put in your business email address. And then you really want to go ahead and create a strong password for yourself. So we've got our details here, then we just click sign up. Then you'll be asked to fill in a phone number. You can do that if you want, or go ahead and click skip. The next step then is to choose a username, and the great thing is that you can always change this later, so don't worry about it too much, but you may see this option here if you put in your own name or a business name that this username is already taken. So you may need to be a little bit creative here about how to adjust this. You will get some suggestions down here, but it's probably best off to ignore these because you don't want a big string of numbers in your username. So you can try out a different thing, couple of things. You could maybe put in something like the official afterwards that may be taken. You can put in things like HQ, or you can just add maybe another word at the start or the end until you find something that is really going to be free. So once you're happy with your username, you can just click next, and remember again, you can always change this later on. So we're glad you're here. Let's go. Now you'll be asked what you're interested in, and you can just select a couple of these things here: technology, tech news. Let's see, and then really continue there. You can add your friends to Facebook if you want from Gmail or Outlook. If you want to do that, you can. I'm just going to click no thanks. Then you can really start to follow some accounts. I'm just going to unselect these, and we should be able to just continue through there. And here we go. They've kind of have a tour where you can go in and they'll walk you through the process. For now, I'll just skip that. You'll also see that you'll need to confirm your email in order to get set up. But that's really it. That is how you create your account for your personal brand or a business on Twitter. It's the first step in getting in front of the 300 million active monthly users on Twitter. So now that you know how to set up your Twitter account, go ahead and do it for yourself, following the steps that you've learned in this video. In this video, you're going to learn how to follow top influencers in your niche on Twitter. And this is an excellent thing to do as soon as you get set up on Twitter, because you can really model these top influencers to see even how they've laid out their profile, what type of content they're putting out, and how you could really do the same to be successful. So once you've created your Twitter profile, you're going to see that there is an option here to find people to follow, and Twitter will really suggest these based on your location. So a lot of these accounts here are local to where I am now. But what you really want to do to start building out your Twitter profile is follow the top influencers in your particular niche. So to do that, you just want to type in your keyword into the Twitter bar at the top here. So let's just say I was in the personal finance space, and I really want to find out who the top influencers are on Twitter in that space. So what's going to pop up once I see that here, you can see across the top, I can see the latest, the people, the photos, videos, news, broadcasts, etc. So we really want to look at the people, and up here are going to pop up some of the 2 most influential accounts for this keyword. And if we open this up, we can see really all of them here. which is really interesting to see. So what I'd suggest you do is have a look through some of these top accounts and maybe just follow 5 people. If you're kind of a business talking about personal finance, maybe find those related business type Twitter profiles. If you want to promote more of a blog, maybe you could follow more of these individuals, independent personal finance editors. So you can see here, Wise Bread, Get Rich Slowly. Let's keep going down. Maybe Vanguard. And really anybody else that you know is a big influencer, you can search for them online if you're in this space. So for example, I know one guy here, Mr. Money Mustache. He's actually a great blog on personal finance if you're into that sort of stuff. And the key idea here is once you come back to your home screen, then your newsfeed will start to be populated with what those top people are doing. You can see the types of posts that they are putting out. You can come into their profiles. You can really have a look at how they're using the cover image. What are the type of things that they're putting in their profile here. You can see the profile image, the type of tweets they're getting, what are the type of things that they're getting engagement on. And this is just a fantastic way to quickly understand what you need to be doing on Twitter in order to be successful, because you are really modeling those people who have been successful. Now, if you come back to your home page as well, you can see in your profile the number of people that you're following. And if you want to access those, you can click on that and open them up. And again, you can just come in here, have a look at those accounts, have a look at their most recent tweets, and see how are they getting so much engagement like this. So you can see here, this is a great example. I think Bitcoin's ridiculous. What are the most compelling stuff you've read, watched, written for or against? So this is a perfect example of someone really engaging their audience on Twitter. And that is why it's getting so many likes, retweets, and comments on it. And it's a perfect example of something that you could do for your business to really ask the opinion of audience and get that huge amount of engagement and the huge amount of retweets. So you can really learn an incredible amount by looking at people who are already successful on Twitter. And that's why you should really come in, use that search bar, and find those top influencers in your niche and add them to your account. So go ahead and do that right now so you can really accelerate your success on Twitter. In this video, you're going to learn how to add a profile image, a link to your website, and a short bio on your Twitter profile. And to do that, you just want to click on the Edit Profile button on your Twitter profile. You can see that you can add the profile image, you can change the name of your Twitter account, you can change your bio here, or add a bio, you can add a location and a link to your website, and even change your theme color if you wanted to. Now in this video, we're going to focus on a couple of key things: adding that profile image, the bio, and the link to your website. So before you start to get into this process, I think a great way to speed this all up is to look at the accounts that you are following, who are the top influencers in your niche, and really look at their profile image, the link to their website, and their bio, and that can really accelerate the process for you. So let's open up a few of these in a separate tab, and we'll just open. I've got 6 top influencers here that I followed previously, and we just want to have a look at how they've set up their profiles. So we can look at the profile image here. It's a good headshot. You can see he's kind of got something unique about himself, the mustache, that really stands out and makes, even from a small profile image here, you can see that it's him. So this is the key thing you want to keep in mind about your profile image, that it is very small when it's on a tweet like this and even on a mobile device. So you really want a close headshot if you are setting it up as a personal account so that people can recognize you from a distance. If we look at the profile image for a company, you can see It's just a simple logo. It's two colors, white on kind of purple. And you can see that is very easy to recognize in a small tweet. Let's have a look at a couple of other profile images. Again, this is a logo type profile, two colors, very easy to see even on a small image like this, which will even be smaller on mobile phone. We can see here again just more of a personal shot and a close-up image. Again, similar type, professional type looking photo, smiling, pretty simple close-up headshot. And finally, here we go again, Philip Taylor. So quite a close headshot, recognizable as well. So for your own profile image, you really want to either put in your business logo or a close-up headshot like that. And to add your profile image, you can just click on the button here, upload the photo. I'll upload this from my desktop. And then it's going to come out as a circular type picture like that. You can increase it or decrease the size of it. And then just click apply. So then we can refresh the profile just to see how that looks like. And if you're happy with that, then we can move on to the next step, which is really to add in a little bio about ourselves. So this bio, again, we can just look at the top. What are the top influencers doing? They figured this stuff out. Let's just take the best from them. So we can see here is this is more of a personal Twitter profile, and he was a 30-something retiree, now writes about he can lead a frugal life. So in this bio, you want to start to communicate some of the benefits of following your Twitter profile. So writes about how we can all lead a frugal yet badass life of leisure. So it kind of gives a hint to what this profile is about. Why should I even follow this? Because he can give me some tips about how to lead a frugal yet badass life of leisure. And you can see this starts to bring across some of the personality of this page is all matching up, the kind of crazy mustache. And the personality of this profile is coming across kind of strongly. It definitely catches attention. Let's have a look at a more professional type business bio. Follow us. So this is a great bio. Follow us to hear on our thoughts in investing, retiring, savings, economy, and more. This is a much more direct bio. It's like, why should you follow us? And they're saying exactly why. And they're saying follow us with a clear call to action for people. So people read this and they go, follow us, why? Okay, here are some of the reasons why. And they have a couple of terms and conditions here which they lay out, probably for a financial business that is, money, anything you invest is on your own risk, etc. So let's have a look at some other one, get rich slowly. So why would I follow this profile? Because I could get rich slowly. Names one of the best Time magazine blogs. Okay, so a little bit of social proof here, and is devoted to sensible personal finance. So again, including that type, the keyword in the bio is another great way to include that. Let's have a look at another one. Personal finance, again, including the keyword in the bio. Frugal living, tweets by Ashley Jacobs, and then this must be a link off to her profile. So you often see that as well. People linking off to other profiles. If they have other companies that they're running, they often link off to those as well. Let's have a look at the last one. Okay, personal finance. Again, the keyword is in the bio. And he's using this space to promote his new book, which is a pretty good idea. Okay, this book, okay. And it's there. Probably if he'd included a link to that book, would even be better. But you can see that you can change this up. You can use it to promote certain things that you're doing right now, and even match that in with maybe your header image as well. So look at your own bio and take some inspiration from the accounts that you've seen. If it's more of a business account or if it's more of a personal account, get across your personality and include your keywords. So I like that one. Follow us for tips, personal finance, and maybe some other keywords that are related to your niche there. Now, as well as that, you can include a location. So Twitter is going to know this pretty much straight away based on where you're logging in from. You can leave that as a country if you want. You don't have to put it in location. So this company doesn't have, it's kind of an online blog, so maybe there's no need for it. All over the place. And you can see really if location is a part of your business, if you're a local business or if you're based somewhere, then that can be, or if you're a personal person, you can put that in. So I'm just going to put in Dublin, or even just put in something like, you can put in a country as well if you want, if you think that's relevant. Now the next step is really to put in a link to your website. So you can see there, it's just a link to the website. And what you can also do is, if you don't want to send them to your homepage, you could put in something like, offers or discounts, and that just gives people a little bit more incentive to click on that link if they think they can get something by clicking through. And you might even mention that in your bio, like click below to get discounts. That's another strategy that can be very successful. So once you're happy with your bio, your location, and your website, you just want to click save to see those changes really come up. And again, you can change this anytime you want. For now, just get something set up so that when people do start visiting your profile, that there's a profile image, there's an explanation of why they should follow you, whether that's very direct or more indirect, and to include a link to your website if you have one as well. So now that you know how to optimize your profile, go ahead and do it for yourself and use those top influencers that you followed as inspiration to accelerate this process. In this video, you're going to learn how to use Twitter, and in particular, I'll show you the 5 different types of ways you can communicate on Twitter: general tweets, mentions, replies, retweets, and DMs. I'll show you an example of each of those and explain the difference of where those different types of ways to communicate on Twitter appear. So one thing that can be very helpful to understand these differences, and especially if you're new to Twitter for any question, is to click on your profile here and you'll see the option to open up the Twitter Help Center. So if you open this up in a new link, there's really a ton of information here. If you ever get stuck or have questions, I'd recommend you come in and check this out. And for this video, there is a great article about different types of tweets, which really is very helpful to understand these different types of tweets. So let's read through this and then I'll give you an example of each. So the general tweets: a message posted to Twitter containing text, photos, GIF, or video. Where does it appear? It appears on the sender's profile page and home timeline. And who sees it? It appears in the home timeline of anybody who's following the sender. So let us come into the profile. I'll give you an example of this. You should see the option here to write your own tweet, or at the top right hand corner. So I'm just going to say hello world. Now Twitter, there used to be a limit of 140 characters. Now that's been increased to 280. So just to be aware, for these general tweets, that is the limit. And if you want to send that out, then you just click tweet. So this will appear on my profile page, and it's also going to appear in the home timeline of anybody who's following me. Right now I have no followers, but if we look at the timeline, it essentially would appear here for anybody who's following me in their timeline, so they could see that. So that is the first type of tweet, and the first of the 5 things that we're going to look at. Now second, we have mentions. So a tweet containing another Twitter's account preceded by the @ symbol is a mention. So for example, if we take this, we can come back to our account. We can click tweet here at the top. We can click hello @supports. We're mentioning an account and we're using their Twitter profile or handle name. So we can click out tweet, and then we can refresh the page. And we can see this mention here. So where does it appear? It appears on our profile page, like we can see here. And then also for the recipient, it appears in their notifications tab, which is accessible by them. So If I was Twitter support, I'd come into my notifications tab, and under mentions, I could see anybody who's mentioned me. Right now, nobody's mentioned me on this account, so nothing is showing up. So who else might see this? Well, anybody on Twitter who's following the sender of the mention, that's me, will see it as a tweet in their home timeline. And places it will never appear on anybody's profile page unless they wrote the message. So simply, it's going to appear on my profile page, and also it's going to appear in the timeline of anybody who's following me, and the recipient is going to get that notification as well. And this is a great way to get the attention of different Twitter accounts and start to connect with them. We'll be talking more about mentions, but it is a fantastic feature. Replies. It's the third of the 5 types of communication we're going to look at. So a reply is when you respond to another person's tweet. Where it appears for the sender, it appears on our profile page. Where does it appear for the recipient? It's in their notifications tab as well. Like mentions, replies will also appear in the recipient's home timeline if they are following the sender. So if they're following us, they're going to see it in their home timeline and also in their notifications tab. So let's have a look at this. If I come into my timeline, we can see a tweet from somebody that we are following. We can really reply to it. So we can say, great article, and hit reply. So once again, this is going to appear in our tweets and replies here on our profile page. So you can see there. And it's also going to appear in the timeline of anybody who's following us. So let's move on now. We've also got retweets. Now what we could do is we can see a tweet from somebody that we think is great. If we retweet this, where does this appear? Well, it appears on our profile page, and it's going to appear in the timeline of anybody who follows us. So there's actually a separate article on this, retweets. And a retweet is really a reposting of a tweet. And the use case is this, that it helps you and others quickly share a tweet with all of your followers. So that's essentially what it is. Where do they appear? You can see tweets by people you follow in your timeline. And you'll also see it in your notifications tab. So Charlie here will see in the notification that not only have I commented, but also that I've retweeted his article. Now the final way to communicate on Twitter is with direct messages. And once again, you could just type this in to the Twitter Help Center to find out a little bit more about this or get a refresher on it. Here we go. Might have to do it twice like that. So really direct messages are the private side of Twitter. That's a great explanation for it. And you can use direct messages to have private conversations with people about tweets or other content. So direct messages are the most private way to communicate on Twitter. They won't be seen by either your followers or their followers. So let's have a look at sending one of these. We'll have a look in here in Charlie's account. Usually you'll see the option to direct message somebody right underneath their bio here. And it seems like Charlie has disabled this. So let's just have a look at another example here. You can see that underneath their bio that they have that option to message. And then you can just send somebody a direct message here. And it's only going to be the recipient who's really going to see that. And it'll be a private conversation between the two of you. And this could be great if you want to reach out to people and discuss something more private, or move on to an email or something like that. So it is another way to communicate on Twitter. Some people will have enabled it, some people not. Sometimes you need to follow the person before you can DM them or direct message them. So recapping, in this video, what you learned how to do is to send general tweets, mentions, replies, retweets, and direct messages. Those are the 5 different ways that you can communicate with influencers, potential customers, or existing customers on Twitter. And remember, if you do need a refresher on any of those, you can come into the Twitter Help Center and really have a look at the guides there just to refresh your knowledge. In this video, I'm going to show you a really quick way to come up with your first 5 tweets on Twitter. And really what we want to do is once again look at the top influencers in our niche that we are following. And it's from these top influencer accounts in our niche that we are really going to get the ideas for our first 5 tweets. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the 5 or 6 influencer accounts I'm following here. And this is where we're going to get everything that we need in order to come up with the ideas for our first tweets. Now, to be clear, what we are trying to achieve here is just to build out some content on our Twitter page. We don't expect to get any likes or engagement on these tweets because we have no followers. So the purpose of doing this is to build out really a sample of the type of content and tweets that we'll be putting out. And then when we do go to encourage people to follow our account, they'll get a clear understanding of, okay, what is the content you're putting out and why should I really follow you? So the best way to come up with that content is just to look at these influencers. And so what we can do is come in one by one and have a look at these. So really what we're looking for are tweets that have had a huge amount of engagement. And what we can do if we like a tweet, we think it's a good idea, it's maybe something we can do, we can just simply like this. And then what's going to happen is, if we refresh this, we should see now in our likes tab here any content that we've liked, and this can really be our short list of ideas for content that we can put out. So I'm going to go through some of these accounts, pick up some ideas, and then show you how to really make your own posts. So I think that is a great piece, something that we could do, or something that we could retweet and even comment on. So what we've got here, another great post. He's sharing an article from another website in the niche, but he hasn't just shared the article, he's added his own comments as well. And that's something that's interesting and something that we could do as well. That is a much better way to get engagement and engage in the conversation on Twitter, not just post a link, but give your opinion or say something about that and add your own little twist onto it. That's a way to create a post very easily, even if you're not creating the actual article that's there. So let's keep going down. Okay, so he has here a link to a blog post that he made out. So he's using Twitter to share blog content. That's definitely something we could do as well. Okay, here he is. He's been featured in a book. Not something that we could do probably immediately as a brand new account, but it is something. Again, he's sharing out blog content. Sharing out blog content as well. And here we go. Some more kind of comments on different things that we could do. Useful shortcut. Maybe that's something we could do. Just a useful shortcut, quick tip like that. And let's move on to another influencer account then to get more ideas. And this is more of a business account. Okay. Simple way to friends to gift. Okay. A video. This is a video uploaded to Twitter. You can see it's got 1,500 views. So that's maybe something we could do. Just record a quick video from our phone, post it to our Twitter profile. Wouldn't even have to look that professional, but it gets a good amount of views. And it's something it's a different type of content. You can see it's very eye-catching in the newsfeed here and even on their profile page. It is something very attractive and really catches the eye. So scrolling down a little bit, is early retirement a realistic dream? So that's a good kind of question at the start of sharing a blog there. So they've asked a question to kind of hook you in, and then they posted the blog there. What investing questions do you have for our experts? Okay, so that's something interesting. It's probably something I could do, maybe not immediately, but definitely in the future. And then they've got links off to other blog posts here. Let's move on to another example. You can see just by going through different accounts, you can build up ideas quite quickly. Okay. So a comment, what's the worst job you ever had? They're really sharing out a blog post here. But again, as you can see, they're trying to engage people in the conversation rather than just dropping the link. So that's pretty easy, something we can do. Here they've retweeted a visual image from another account. That's something definitely we could do. That's not too hard. Moving on slowly down then. Sharing an article out. Okay, sad news. Again, just retweeting someone else that has a lot of mentions. That means that's something good that we could do. Because if we retweet this, something like this, then all of these people will be notified and that gets us on their radar. So let's keep coming down. Now, as you can see, it can take you a little bit of time just to go through, but it's definitely much easier than trying to come up with stuff yourself. Just come through and like these. Did you ever use your shop? Happy Monday. 3 comments. I mean, that's not too hard to do. Or have a great weekend. Maybe that's even a better thing to do. If we've no audience, it's maybe just to say Happy Monday. That's something we could do. It's Monday today. Okay, I'm going to take a minute just to have a look at some other ideas here. Here's something interesting I found. You know, the boom is back when you buy a coffee at a train station and the estate agents are advertising on the paper cup. So that's something that he's noticed just out and about. It's a simple picture. I mean, taken most likely from his mobile phone and then just tweeted out. And it's commentary on what's happening in the world. Very simple. I could definitely do that. Now coming down, we'll look at the final profile here. This is number 6. And that's pretty cool. I mean, it's just the team from their business in their Christmas jumpers. It's around Christmas time now. And so anything seasonal is also a great thing that you could tweet out initially. You wouldn't need to have a huge audience for that. And it just looks great. People get a sense of who you are, who your team is. And that's something very easy you could do. Okay, so I've collected some ideas from my first tweets from those influencer accounts. I'll just close all these down so we can focus in now. And I'm just going to refresh the page. I said 13 likes. So already there, I have 13 ideas about what I could do. And this is how you can come up with your first 5 or 10 posts on Twitter. Just look at what influencer is doing. Like any one that you think you could easily replicate. And you can go ahead and do those. It's very, very simple. Videos. We've got comments. We've got sharing blog posts. We've got comments on other articles. And we have really questions that they're asking the audience as well. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start doing my first tweet straight away. If you've got any other tweets there that you just did for practice, you can go ahead and delete them. And one tweet I liked there that was in our list was Happy Monday. We're almost near Christmas as well. So what I can do is days. So we've got 7 days till Christmas. What I can do is Happy Monday. 7 days. And maybe I could even put in a GIF here. So these are GIFs that are actually built into Twitter. Let's put in Christmas, see what we can find. If we search for these. So you something like this could be pretty funny just to put in. It shows that it's seasonal. It shows that the account is active. And there we go. It's kind of a Happy Monday tweet, but also 7 days until Christmas. And that's going to resonate with anybody who sees our profile right now, because it's timely. It's something to do with Christmas, and it definitely catches attention. Now, something else that I think I could do straight away is we saw this conversation down here. What we can actually do is retweet this tweet. But we don't want to just retweet it. We want to add a bit of our comments as well. So we want to have some content on our profile that relates to our topic. And in this example, just setting up a personal finance type Twitter account. So the tweet here originally is, I think Bitcoin is a ridiculous speculative bubble. And we can really add our own comment in here. We can say something like, some heated debate in this thread. Personally, it's a bubble. What do you think? So we've kind of added our comments. We've said what our opinion is, as we've also asked a question as well. So if we come to our profile now, we've got something here that really adds our comment as well to something else that has been written about. And then really this just lays the foundation for our content. So once again, we're not trying to get likes and comments and shares on these tweets. We're just trying to build a base of content on our profile so that people can see when they do come and when we kind of go after them to follow us, that they understand what we are actually tweeting about and why they should follow our account. So to recap, in order to find the first 10 or 5 posts, have a look at your influencers that you are following and any comments that you like or any tweets that you think you could do. Just simply go ahead and like them. That will add them to your like list, and then you can use that as a list of ideas for you to work on. So go ahead and do that now, or put this strategy in your back pocket for later. In this video, you're going to learn how to get your first followers on Twitter. And these are going to be genuine followers that are going to engage with your profile. Now, before you go ahead and do this, remember that you should have updated your profile image, created a bio, filled out your website, etc., and created a base of content on your profile, maybe 5 or 10 posts. Now, this is just a demo account, so I haven't done everything, but really you should be at that stage before you begin to try and get followers. The reason is because when people come to your profile, you've got everything set up, it's a real active account, and that creates a much higher chance for them to follow you. So how do you get the followers? Well, once again, you want to open up the influencer accounts that you have started following. And really what you want to do is funnel followers from their accounts to your account. So the way that you do that is open up one of the influencer accounts that you're following, go to one of their posts, and now you want to start to follow people who are actually engaging with content. Now they might have a lot of followers on their profile, but not everybody is going to engage. And so as a new Twitter profile, you really want to focus and try and build a relationship with those people who are engaged. So if you click on a post, you can actually see anybody who's commented on the post, and you can begin to follow them, and you can just keep moving down. So you know these people are quite engaged, and you might have to do a little bit of clicking around to make this work. But essentially, this gives you the opportunity as well to see exactly who are these people who are engaging with your influencer account. You can see the size of their accounts here. You can see their bio. And so you can start to get a sense of who they really are. So we can really just keep going down and following them. And what's going to happen is a lot of those people are going to get this notification that they have been followed by you. And then once they see that notification, they're going to want to check you out. And then in most cases, if they see that your profile is relevant to what they're into, which it should be, if you are following people on accounts that are similar to yours, then they're really going to come and follow you back. So it is a bit of a manual process, but I really recommend you do this to get started so you can really see the exact profiles of these people, really understand even some of the conversations that are happening here. And it's a way to attract people to your profile that are really engaged on Twitter and not just accounts that maybe would have followed a while ago. So if you want to attract engaged followers, this is the best strategy. Just come to influencer accounts and look at the comments of people and really start to follow them. And then they're most likely going to follow you back. You can also start to engage, add your own comments, replies, and that again, they're going to get a notification of that. And as a result, they're going to come and check out your profile. So we have set up about 5 influencer accounts here. And so you can start to go in and maybe start to follow maybe up to 200 people a day, maybe. Just take 10, 15 minutes to do that. I think it's really going to help you understand what type of engagements on Twitter, and it will really help you attract those initial followers to get things kicked off. So now that you know how to attract your initial followers on Twitter, go ahead and try that for yourself, or just put it in your back pocket for later. In this video, you are going to learn how to use hashtags to increase the visibility of your tweets. So first off, what is a hashtag? Well, when you go to tweet on Twitter, you have the option to put in the pound key and then maybe a keyword about what your tweet relates to. So you could see personal finance, you could say Monday motivation, and you can see that when you start to type in hashtags here, Twitter will start to suggest some popular ones to you. Now, how does this increase your visibility on Twitter? Well, first of all, people use the search bar to find tweets related to certain topics. So if we type in that same one, personal finance, what we can see now are all of the top tweets and latest tweets or people, photos, videos, news, or broadcasts that relate to that topic. And you can see even by searching for maybe one hashtag that you think you could include and identify other ones that would be popular to include as well. And these hashtags really help to group conversations together, and that is a key thing that Twitter wants to do, really to organize conversations and to group them together. And these hashtags are a key way to do this. So you can not only use these hashtags to be easily found through the search, but you can also create your own hashtags if you were running a certain campaign and you wanted to search and see how many people were talking about your campaign online. You'll probably see this often on TV shows. They have the hashtag for the TV show, and that enables people to tweet to include that hashtag. Then the TV show can find those tweets easily on Twitter, and then they're able to retweet or engage with them. So it's the same strategy that other companies are using. You can embrace that for yourself. Either create a hashtag for your brand or for your individual company, or just use these hashtags in order to group your tweets into the larger conversation that's happening on Twitter. Now also over here on the left hand side, you can see the most popular tweets, and usually these are shown based on your location. And by seeing the hashtags for your location, you can participate in these larger conversations that are happening on Twitter. And that'll help increase your visibility because you're participating in these large local conversations online. Now, if you want, you can change the location, select a more specific location, maybe a city, and you can also get tailored trends. So these are more the trends that are based on your interests rather than your locations. So you can play around with that and really identify some of the hashtags that you could potentially get involved in. So the best advice is to maybe just include 1 or 2 hashtags per tweet so that you can be found in the search engines, and also that you can be found as part of those larger conversations happening on Twitter, either around your topic or around your location. In this video, you're going to learn how to use Twitter polls to create tweets that get a lot of engagements. I'll show you a couple of examples, and then I'll show you how to set up a poll on your Twitter account. To find some examples of successful polls on Twitter, we can just come into the search bar and type in hashtag polls. And up is going to pop then some accounts that are related to polls and some actual polls down here. So let's come down and just find an example. So here's a good example. It's simply just a question. Who's going to win the election? And then there's two options. And then people are really just voting on this. So I could select this as somebody and then just vote. And then I can see the percentage of people who think that that is the likely outcome. So for me as a viewer, this is very engaging because I'm actually doing something and engaging with you on Twitter. And then I'm also learning a little bit about what other people think. And that gives me that little bit of an incentive to click through. So you can see once again, when you see the poll, you don't actually see the answers. You can see the number of votes. But when I select my answer, then I can see the percentage of people who agreed with me. So there is a built-in incentive there for people to respond because then they can see what other people are seeing. And that is why it's such a powerful feature and why it gets so much engagement. Now, what can you do with these polls? Well, you can do pretty much anything. You could get people to vote on content that you want to create. So here you could say, what blog post should I write next? Instagram marketing, Twitter marketing, and you could see where the votes are. You could ask for predictions like this, who's going to win the election. You could ask for feedback on a feature. So do you use this feature on Twitter? Polls, yes, no. You could react to real-time events. So anything that happens in the news, you could say, do you think this is a positive thing, or did he get that decision right? Yes or no. And the cool thing about these polls as well is you can actually take a poll, your poll or anybody's poll, and embed them onto your website. So you could put this, just take that code, copy it and paste it onto your website, and then this poll will appear on the website. So you could create your own polls, put them on a blog post, or put a collection of polls to really highlight, okay, well, this is what some people think is going to happen, and here's what I actually think is going to happen. So there's a lot of interesting ways that you can use these polls, and even there actually is an account on Twitter here that shares out the most important polls on Twitter, brought to you by BuzzFeed. So if we click into this, we can take a look at some of these. So 3,243 votes, that's a lot of engagement. This is now over. You can see that's the final results. So all of these, I think they're sharing them out when they're done. But if it wasn't the final result, you're going to see like 1 day left, 2 days left, and that's when you can't see the results there. But even if we just scroll down through these, you can see that there is a lot of engagement. 1,700 votes, 1,400, 10,000 votes. So this one's just kind of funny. Some can be more serious, 3,000 votes, 11,000 votes. Now, I think what you'll see is the consistency between all of these is it's a simple question, maybe even over only a couple of words. And then there's maybe 1 or 2 options maximum. So if you want to get a lot of engagement, keep it a simple question, 1 or 2 answers. And I think that's going to make it very easy for people to respond. They don't have to think a huge amount about it. They can just click. And you can make this fun, like hell yeah, nah. Even if we scroll down a little bit, I think I saw a good one down here. You can put emojis in here. Are you ready for this? End it now. It's over. Let's scroll down even more. What does the future of the US look like? You know, it looks bad or it looks great. And you can see that that got a huge amount of engagement as well. So let us come in and create a poll for ourselves then. We can come in and click tweet at the top right hand corner here. You can select this option to add a poll. And so you want to ask a question. So what course maybe should I make next? And then you can say something, give 2 options. Google Analytics. I can create the poll length. Now it's probably a good idea to leave it up there as long as possible, maybe 5 to 7 days. And then you can just go ahead and tweet that. And if we come to the profile, you can see that that's going to appear there. It's going to say 4 days left, and then people are going to vote. You're going to see the results straight away, but the viewers won't see the results until they click through and answer. Now that you know how to create Twitter polls, come in to your account and create a poll for yourself so you can have a lot of engagement on your tweets. In this video, you're going to learn a simple trick to grow your Twitter page. I've got an example of it here on my account, and I'm also going to show you an example from 2 other accounts as well. So this is a strategy you can definitely repeat over and over again. And the strategy is to pin a tweet to the top of the page, but not any tweet, a tweet that is really going to get retweeted by your audience. So you can see that this tweet has been retweeted 36 times, meaning that someone who's come to my page has retweeted this quote to share it with their audience. And the advantage for me is that that puts me in front of their audience, which helps expose me to their audience. In turn, that helps grow my channel. They may follow me, they may see this message, like it as well, and it just continues to grow. So the key strategy here is that not only do you pin a tweet, which you can do with any tweet on Twitter, just click on the little down arrow here and click pin to profile, but you want to leave a tweet there indefinitely. And the reason you do that is because anytime anybody comes to your page, if they agree with the message that you're saying here, it could be a quote, a belief, something like that, well then they're going to want to retweet it, and that just helps give you constant exposure every time it comes to your page. You can see I tweeted this in over a year ago now, and it's still there at the top because people still retweet it. Got 61 likes and 9 comments. Let's have a look at another example of this. Now, this guy's audience is a lot bigger, so you can see he's got 4,000 retweets, 6,000 likes, 234 comments. And again, he's done the same strategy. Best way to sell something, don't sell anything. Earn the awareness, respect, and trust of those who might buy. So that is a belief that he has, and if his audience or anybody who sees that believes the same thing, then they can retweet that. And once again, the advantage for this guy is that it exposes him to those other people's audience. That's the beauty of the retweet and the real power of it, and why you want to set something up like this, so you have an automated way to get retweets on your account. Let's have a look at another example of this strategy, this time slightly different, but again, it's something that is timeless. Your regular investing reminder. Keep calm and stay the course. So 172 retweets, 317 likes, 51 comments. So that is something that they could just leave there indefinitely, your regular investing reminder. It's not something that goes out of fashion, and it's kind of funny. And if you were following their profile, well, you might retweet that and expose them to your audience, which again helps them grow. So this is something you could definitely do for yourself. Find a quote from somebody else or from yourself that you believe in, or even make an image like this that you can just put up that's easy for them to reshare to their audience. And that is a very simple way that you can grow your Twitter audience quickly by getting other people to retweet this and getting yourself in front of their audience. So try it out for yourself or put it in your back pocket for later. In this video, you're going to learn how to search for potential clients on Twitter. And this is something you can uniquely do on Twitter, and it is a great way to win business directly from a social network. So what you want to do is come up to the Twitter search bar and type in I need a, and whatever it is, the product or service that you deliver. So for example, if I was a web designer, I'd type in I need a website. And what I'm really searching for here are people that have tweeted out I need a website. I want a website. You can see I want a website. I need a dope graphic designer. I need a very good website designer. It's urgent. I need a website designer. Scrolling down, I need someone to help me create a website. So you can see that there are a lot of people tweeting out and asking for help. So what you can do is reply to these tweets and let them know that you are a web designer and that you can really help them out. Now, one thing to note is that there will probably be other people using this strategy. So if we click into the replies here, we can actually see someone has responded already, a web design company. Good evening, we're an experienced digital agency and can handle your project. Here is our portfolio and what type of website do you want? So they have already used this strategy to respond. And even if I scroll down a little bit, you can see some other responses. So the key thing here is that when you reply to these, to stand out from the competition, you need to give something unique in your message that's going to stand out. So message me, please. That's not going to work. You can probably imagine that this person just ignored that straight away. This person definitely would have caught my attention, but maybe they could have even been more specific, like, we can get started straight away and have it done in a week. We can do it for less than, most websites we do for less than $200. Something like that is going to really kick off the conversation and get you to stand out from any other messages that pop up. So having a great response that really communicates your unique selling proposition is a way to win business with this strategy. Don't say, just message me, please. That is not going to get the client excited. Now, another way that you can actually win business in a less competitive way is not to look at the top tweets, but to actually come over and look at the latest tweets. So the reason there's quite a lot of comments on these is because these are the top tweets. But if we come to latest tweets, then we can see the people who have said, I need a website, or including some of those words. You can see this was only 7 minutes ago. Nobody has commented on this. So that is something that you could just drop in and comment on straight away. I need a brilliant website. Okay. Again, you could probably comment on that. You'd have to read all these carefully to see what they say. Now you can see that some of these tweets just include a website. They don't see I need a website. And so if you want to narrow your search, what you can do is put these parentheses around the search. And now you are only going to see tweets that have that exact phrase in it, I need a website. So you can see down here, I need a website, I need a website. You could probably reply to that person straight away. I need a website, who can get the job done? DM me, etc. So it's a way by filtering for the latest tweets and even the tweets that have that exact phrase in it. Again, you can get those people and identify them who maybe aren't appearing in those top searches. Now you can also search for not just I need a website, but also maybe I need a web designer. And so change around the phrases a little bit in order to really find what you need. Another strategy as well is to look for people who are frustrated with an existing solution. So what you could do is, using those parentheses again, type in hate Wix. So what we're going to find here, I'm thinking about switching from Wix to WordPress because I effing hate Wix. So what you could do here is really reply and say, hey Katie, if you want help with that, it's very easy to switch from Wix to WordPress. We could help you get it done in one day and you wouldn't lose any of your content. Interested to learn more? And then they might say yes, and then you could say, okay, let's jump over to email, etc. So looking for frustrated customers or frustrated customers of another solution is a great way to identify clients that you can really poach. And if they're really frustrated, then they are really going to be looking for a solution. Today I was reminded why I absolutely hate Wix. I hate Wix. I think any business is going to get frustrated customers like this. So the opportunity for you is really to swoop in, save the day, and win them as a client. So just considering to delete my whole sodding blog, paid so much money for the site, have no support. So again, what you could say is, hey, don't worry, we can help you. There's no need for you to delete your site. We can transition it to, say, WordPress in less than a day, and it's a very simple process. So again, swooping in and saving the day for those frustrated customers is another way that you can find potential customers and really get a huge ROI off Twitter. So go ahead and check that out for yourself. Come up to the search bar and search for people saying, I need a website, graphic designer, financial planner, personal coach, etc. You can use these parentheses to narrow it down. And you can also search for those frustrated customers as well. So go ahead now and try that out for yourself to find potential clients, or put this strategy in your back pocket for later. In this video, you're going to learn how to use @mentions to get retweeted by influencers on Twitter. This is an amazing strategy that can really take your whole Twitter game to the next level. So what is an @mention? Well, just as a reminder, an @mention is just when you tweet and you actually mention somebody in the tweet. So you can see that I am mentioning Udemy here, and they will then get a notification that I have mentioned them in a tweet. And so just to give you an example, they will see in their notifications tab here that I have mentioned them. Now the key thing is not just that they will see this in their notification. The key thing is that you want to craft a tweet that they want to automatically retweet. And I'll give you some examples of this from some students of mine. And you can see here, for example, we have Bruno here. He's mentioned me in a tweet, but he's also crafted a great tweet that I will want to retweet. So now done and collected my Google AdWords and Google Analytics certifications. Thanks @Dara M. Walsh. And so I will automatically retweet that. Why? Because it makes me look good, because here is essentially a mini testimonial that I can share with my audience, and that shows them that, look, if they take my courses like this guy, they can get the results. So if you can create a mini testimonial for an influencer and mention them, well, then there's a very high chance that they are going to retweet that out. You can even just say something like this one here. Hi, Dara, I just started your digital marketing classes, hoping to get some few responses and pointers on this journey with you. So again, I'll automatically retweet that out because here's a student, they've started, they're excited, and that's essentially a mini testimonial that I'll want to retweet straight out. So here is another one, getting a lot of insights from the course. You don't necessarily have a huge win or result in order to mention them and get retweeted. Now, the advantage for all of these guys here is that when I retweet them, I expose them to all of my followers, which helps really grow their account because more people are seeing their profile. And that is just a way to really increase your visibility on Twitter extremely quickly. Use influencers with big following to use this mention feature to get in front of that much bigger audience than you have yourself. So this is a really way to scale your Twitter marketing efforts very quickly just by leveraging those big influencer accounts. And the way that you can get in front of those influencer followers is just by tweeting out one of these kind of mini testimonials. Now, there's a ton of examples on my profile if you want to come and check this out. And also, if you want to tweet and just say, hey, I've started the course, or I've got this result or that result, well, there's a very high chance that I'm going to retweet that. So definitely try that out for yourself. You can also do this for any influencers in your niche as well. You read their book, you took their course, you read their blog post, and it was really good, or you got this out of it, or you got that result. There's just so many ways that you can use this. I want to show you another way that you can use this @mention strategy, not just to get retweeted by influencers, but also to get them to share your blog post or your website. So I use this strategy myself, and I'll show you. I got this account Typeform to really share out a blog post that I created. You can see they've quite a lot of followers, a bigger account than mine. And so what I said is I've been racking up unbelievable response rates. They have a software that allows you to create forms similar to Google Form, 57% compared to the competition. And I shared a link to my blog post, and I even referenced somebody who's on the Typeform team. So I caught the attention of that person as well, not just the main Typeform account. So that's another strategy that you can do. You can just look up LinkedIn. Who are the people who work in that company that might be the brand manager or the social media manager? And just mention them as well, just to make sure that if you don't get any retweets on the main account, that you can also then just reference somebody in the company, the social media manager, etc. And so what they did, I tweeted at them a couple of times. It didn't work the first time, but eventually they shared out my blog post, how to use Typeform to gather priceless feedback and emails by me. And you can see that they tweeted that out to all of their followers. And that was really a post that I wrote on my website, but they shared it out as an example of somebody who was using their product and was getting results from it. So again, it's a testimonial, but it's kind of taking it to the next level and enables me not just to grow my Twitter profile, but also to get more website traffic from Twitter and from other bigger accounts. So this @mention feature seems fairly simple, but you can be very strategic about using it to get a huge amount of retweets from big influencer accounts and even get them to drive website traffic to your site if you craft a blog post that makes them look good. So go ahead and use these strategies for yourself right now, or put them in your back pocket for later. In this video, you are going to learn how to add a Twitter button to your website. And to do that, the first thing you want to do is go to publish.twitter.com. And here you will see all the options for what you can embed from Twitter onto your website. You can click the drop down here to see everything that you can embed. Or personally, I find it sometimes easier just to browse these options and get a visual of what I can embed. For this video, we will be adding a Twitter button. So I'll select on this option. And you can see that there are different types of buttons that you can add. A share button to share an article or a link, follow button, mention button, hashtag button, or message button. For this example, I'll just take the follow button, and then you really want to add your username in here. Now, as you can see, the advantage of adding this follow button is that it can help you grow your audience on Twitter, and it makes it easy for your website visitors to really find your profile and follow your account without even needing to leave the blog post. So I'm going to hit preview here, and then I get this code. And what you need to do is really embed this code onto your website. So we can copy the code, and then as it says here, paste this code directly into the HTML portion of your site, and you'll be good to go. If you need more instructions, there are complete instructions here. So the process is going to be slightly different for each type of website that you have, but coming into a WordPress site, I'll just show you how it's done. I'm going to click, say, a post, add new post, as if I was writing maybe a new blog post. And then what I can do is I can come across to text. This is where I paste in the HTML, Control V. And then if I come across to the visual, just need to do that again. So that's in the visual, placed it in the text, and then I'm going to see it in the visual. And once I hit publish, then it's going to show up exactly like that. So now that you know how to add a Twitter button to your website, come over to publish.twitter.com and add any button that you want to your website so you can really grow your Twitter audience from your website. One of the best things that you can do to grow your Twitter account is to come in and review your Twitter analytics on a regular basis. And to access your Twitter analytics, just click on your profile image, and then you can come down and click on Analytics. Now in here, there are a couple of different screens across the top. And on this home screen especially, this is a great place to find out what kinds of content are getting the most engagement, who are the most influential people in your audience. And then especially in the Audiences tab here, you can really start to understand the age, gender, and location of your audience, the demographics. Very valuable to know. So let's get started by looking at the top tweet here on the home screen. And this is really the top tweet for the month so far that's got the most amount of impressions. Now this is fantastic to know because you can look at the topic of this tweet. what were you really talking about here? You mentioned somebody, maybe that resonated with the audience, that got a lot of likes. You can continue to create more content around that topic going forward because that's popular with your audience. You could also essentially reshare this tweet throughout the month or next month with slightly different wording so that you're continuing to maybe share that popular content out. Now, what you can do in terms of looking back at your other top tweets as well is look at the format as well. Did you include an image? Did you include a video? Are you seeing a lot of differences in terms of impressions when you change up the format? And that's something that you can test out and then come into your analytics to really see, did that make a difference or not? Now, coming on down to the top followers, this is another very interesting part of the analytics, because in here you can really have a look and even click through to their profile. You can thank them for following you. You can start a conversation with them. Maybe if they have a similar audience, they might have a blog or a podcast, then you could say, hey, maybe we could do a guest post. I go on your site, you go on my site, etc. if they have a similar audience. Now, you will need to go in and really click through, see if that is a legitimate account and maybe they just bought the followers. So you might want to check that out. But going down through even the previous months, you can see who are their types of followers, what type of content they put out, is there a good match there? And maybe you could do something like a guest post or a podcast, or maybe just even connect with an influential person online. Now over here, we also have the top mentions. So this is a tweet in which someone mentioned you that got a lot of engagements. So you can look at these top mentions, maybe thank them again, retweet them, and in future try to encourage your audience to mention you or engage with you on Twitter, because you'll be shared not only, the person who mentions you, you'll be seen not only by all of their audience, but your audience as well if you retweet it. So it's a great way to kind of, if you can get more mentions, it's just a great way to create content for Twitter that you can retweet, and also then you can really get in front of other people's audiences as well. So encouraging people to connect with you and mention you on Twitter is just a great way to get more impressions. Now, coming across away from the home screen, we do have a tweets tab here, which can be interesting to look at, to get a look at your total number of impressions over the last, say, 28 days. You can change the period here. You can export the data here as well if you want. And so again, not only looking at your top tweets, but also looking at some of your other tweets to see how they performed against each other. And that'll just give you a more in-depth look and metrics for all of your tweets. Now in here in the audiences tab, this is pretty interesting as well. You can see a lot of their interests here, which can be interesting. I think Twitter gets a lot of this information from partner sites, including like the average income of your audience, etc., what they're interested in. So it's pretty high level stuff, to be honest. Take it with a pinch of salt, but it can just be interesting to come in and look and see, does that kind of match up with the audience that you're trying to attract? And probably the most valuable tab here is the demographics. You can see male or female split in your audience, 60-40 there, and you can see the age range as well. So you just want to come in and say, is the audience that I'm trying to attract, that is the audience for my blog or my product or my service, really matching up with my Twitter audience? And if not, maybe I should make it clear in the content that I'm putting out that it really appeals to these type of people of this sex, that the type of problems that they have, that I'm speaking directly to those type of people, and even in those type of jobs maybe, and these particular countries as well. So this is a fantastic page just to get a really clear picture of who maybe your best follower is on Twitter in terms of their persona, and you can use the information in here to build that persona up. So extremely valuable. So Twitter analytics are one of the best ways that you can use, or one of the best tools that you can use to grow your Twitter account. So I'd really encourage you to come in and check it out. And once again, you can come in and click on your profile when you're on Twitter, and then just click on analytics to access it and to analyze it and to get all those insights for yourself.